So today on An American in Poland, we're going to take a little drive. We're going to go out and explore and discover one of the biggest problems in Poland. Now, when I say that, I don't necessarily mean it as a bad thing. You know, some problems are due to things like too much wealth, too much food, too much success, or in Poland's case, too much history. And I don't think that's a bad thing. The first location we're going to take a look at is a ring fort located in the forests of Nikelka. I've been doing a ton of hiking lately. When I was walking through the forest, I kept seeing this, what looked like an obviously man-made structure. And I thought it was recent. But after doing some further research, this actually ends up being a 7th to 9th century Swedish ring fort. And there are no signs, there are no markings anywhere there on the ground. There's just a large ditch with, leading up to a mound, and then a approximately 30-meter diameter ring fort. Just hanging out in the forest of Nikelka. And nobody really pays attention to it or cares that it's there. And I actually had to do a bit of research on Google Maps because there's nothing even written about this in like a normal archaeological paper or anything like that. It really hasn't been studied. It's just marked on the map that it is a Swedish ring fort, 7th to 9th century. It was absolutely amazing to me that a country can have so much history that different pieces of it can just be completely ignored when, for me, something like this, had this been in the United States, would be a major archaeological site. You know, they would have been charging admission to come and visit it. There'd be people there, discussing its history, and, there'd be Renaissance fairs being held in the location. And part of that's because we don't have that in the United States. While hiking, I happened upon what appeared to be a strange section of old, what I thought at the time was logging road. And what was interesting to me is that there were pieces where you could see the cobblestones sticking up out of the surface. Now, these type of roads aren't made for logging, so I had to rethink my reasoning. As I kept hiking along, I happened upon another ring fort hidden in the forests of Kościołowa Górka. I climbed up this steep embankment into this massive opening on top of a hill and was absolutely amazed to find this structure. Now, at this site, there is a sign marking it as a Swedish trench ring fort. And it was discovered in 1929 by a teacher from Pobiedziska. It has had archaeological study accomplished in this location. There was a dig done in the 1960s where they did discover dating evidence that puts it between the 7th and the 9th century. So this one has had at least a little bit of study. But once again, if you're not wandering through the forests, you wouldn't know that it's there. It's not marked. The trails going to and from it aren't well marked. And this is a massive, location. This is probably, 60 meters across, and it's pretty well defined. It's just absolutely amazing to me that these types of structures can just be completely forgotten. I mean, as we're traveling throughout Poland, we all see empty abandoned palaces or castle ruins or, windmills that are abandoned. It's just amazing that you can have so much history in one place that you have to pick and choose in order to be able to financially support these locations. There isn't a country in the world that could support just the restoration and preservation of these Polish historical sites without it having an impact on their economy. There's just so much here. In the United States, you know, we're a new country. So whatever history we have, we cling to it, you know, like a mother to its babe. And it's because we have to. We don't have a choice. We're still new and we're still trying to prove our value to the world, obviously for better or worse. But here in Poland, there's so much that you have to limit what you're focusing on, because if not, you won't ever get anything accomplished. And I think that's amazing. I was really privileged. My nephew Hugo came for Christmas, and he actually lives in Netherlands. I was able to take him out and show him these two sites, which is important because, you know, he's a young Polish boy living abroad. He comes back to Poland and has the opportunity to put hands on his own history and get to see something that 99% of Poles will never see. You know, this forgotten history, these small pieces of antiquity lost in the forests of Poland. And I think it's amazing. It's such an awesome opportunity for a young boy to get to walk where soldiers and knights, you know, had lived and built these forts and walked, and, you know, just a great experience. So you've got a village like Giecz, which is just outside of Nekla, and, you know, they've done a really nice job of rebuilding a medieval village, and they've got the original church there that, you know, is 1,000 years old, over 1,000 years old. And so they've focused pretty heavily on that. But less than 3 kilometers away, there was a Nazi work camp that you wouldn't even know existed because there's almost nothing there. There's a small sign, but nothing else is there. So that's an example of where you have two pieces of history. Granted, one better than the other, but one of them is almost completely lost because it made more sense to focus on the one that was more prevalent. I think this is a fantastic problem to have, but it is a major problem for Poland. How do you pick and choose? What makes the most sense to highlight? You know, what sites need to be protected so that they're not lost forever? Which other sites need to be resurrected as a direct reminder to our Polish past? Anyways, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. If you have, do me a huge favor, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and leave us a comment below. Make sure you got those notifications turned on so that next time we post a video, you get notified. I do apologize for not posting in a long time. I've had a kind of coming to terms with what I want to do with my YouTube. It's not an easy decision, you know. There are things that I care about and other things that I really just don't, but it almost seems like it's necessary for a foreigner's take on YouTube, you know, on Poland. And I just don't necessarily like those videos. I don't care about, oh, dating a Polish woman, or what's it like doing this in Poland, or I've done them. But I don't want that to be what this channel is about. I want this channel to be about the things I find most interesting about Poland, whether that be the history or the natural beauty, or just the people in general. And I don't think it has to be a competition of who's better. Poland is unique in its own ways, and it's very special because of it. The same as United States is unique and special because of its own issues. Anyways, I really appreciate you guys sticking with me. I'm going to try and be a little better about posting more frequently. But I want to make sure that there's good value in what I post. So, until I see you next time, na razie, dziękuję bardzo, and we'll see you soon right here on An American in Poland.